What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see, we should have sound. Sound looks like it's going on my end. Video's going through. Hopefully we're good. Let me know if anything's not working. I think we're good. Who do we have here? We got London Penn, Jonathan Parsons, Dan May, Ray Shea, Todd Keith. Who else we got? Let me scroll through my phone. Nightbreed. Sounds good. Yep. Good. Okay. Cool. Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great week. Got a few things not working right tonight, like my reference image stuff. And some of my macros aren't working, but, well, we just won't have some of that fancy stuff. Worked last week. Not working this week. No big deal. Doesn't matter. Brian Moore, what's going on? All right. Let's tell you what we got going on tonight. I didn't have much of a plan today. I was just going to kind of wing it and kind of go over some of the stuff we did, do some freehand skulls, and do a couple things. And I got a quick idea just to do this guy right here. This is a vector that I've had for decades. I used to use this in my intro to custom paint class. It's just a simple beveled blade, and it's got this shape, and it's got an inline cut, so you can three-dimensional it. So basically, everything we learned on this one here, especially this one, is going to play into this blade here. This is part of a vector set that has a whole bunch of tribals, and some of you guys here already have it. And those of you who don't, if you buy it, you get this, and there's 9 other really wild and cool vectors that I've used for different projects and different classes, and they really come in handy. So they're a fun project. So it's really simple. We got a 11 by 14 panel, white aluminum panel, polymetal, which has a PVC core, aluminum on both sides. It's white. It's been scuffed down with a gray Scotch-Brite, cleaned off, ready to go. And we're going to have this mask, and we're going to stick it on. This will be one I'm taking bids on. Bids will start at $150, $10 increments minimum, and they will go from there. Like I said, from here on out, I'll announce if it's going to be like a bid type of situation or not, and I'll put a minimum on there from here on out. That way, kind of everyone knows where I'm expecting it to go, and if it doesn't, it will just go into the pile and go onto the site available at a different time. I got a couple paintings like that right now that are going up. All right, here we go. I need a squeegee. Grab that. Hold on. Scoot back over. Have to be up at 2. Oof, yeah, that's no fun. All right, standard vinyl application. I've done this a million times. Basic hinge technique. It's the way I always do it. Hi from Caracas, Venezuela. Welcome, Carlos. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it. Scorpio, how's it going? And one of the problems I can't do tonight is my members list. I can't. Well, maybe I can do. Can I do this? That's key 1 on. Oh, I got that. Yep. Key 2. Yep. Let's see. Just trying to see which ones I have here available to me. Okay. Let's see. I want to thank, I can do that the old school way. So I want to thank all my Down and Dirty Tricksters, all the guys who support the channel. Thank you for popping in. Don't forget, you guys get 25% off everything in the store. All the digital downloads and all that stuff is there. Like I said, this whole download that comes with this and 9 others is I think it's a $15 download, so it's a really expensive set. Gets a lot of use. If you're a custom bike painter, you'll get a lot of use out of it. Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this back. Now, what I did, I pre-weeded this. The inline cut's already cut. And then I just left these so I could line them up to the corner. What do we got here? Robert, what's happening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Someone said Gary. I don't see a Gary. Oh, Scorpio is Gary. Changed to my nickname. Ah, what's going on, man? Grumble about getting up at 4:30 this week. I grumble if I got to get up at 7:30. Okay, simple, simple. And tonight I'm going to keep this real simple. This is using simple airbrush techniques to do the blade. We're going to do a nice simple texture here. And we're going to have some fun with some freehand skulls in here. Just make it a fun, quick project. With getting ready for Germany in a couple weeks, I haven't had time to... I'm still kind of prepping for that. So I can't dedicate too much of the week to getting projects done for this. So... And I can just take that off. Don't need that. Ta-da! And I have this, I think I have this a hair offset. It's a little bit bigger gap over here than here. So really simple. If I do end up selling this painting, we're just going to cut off the 1/8 of an inch here and even it out. All right. Yes. Okay. So really cool. So if you look really close, you can see there's an inline cut here. So we're going to paint some images in here. We're going to do some really nice, quick and simple background texture. And then we'll do the blades last. This is a prime example when I do like what's called tribal two-tones or two-tone graphics. You always paint the color. Like if I'm doing a silver graphic and a black and red, I put the silver first. I tape off the graphics in the positive in this mask. And then I paint the negative space around it. So I would do the red, then I would cover the red, and then I'd do the black, and then I would pull this, and you'd have a silver-black graphic. That's kind of the order of operations. I do a lot when I do this. So let's find... We're going to get some stencils up. We got some pocket graphics. We got some Gerald Mendez texture effects. We got a swirl. We'll just leave it there. We'll mess around with those. For those who didn't watch last week when I was doing the Adepticon ones, I was messing around with these stencils, which are really cool mini textures. These are great for like model building and like sculpture and stuff. Really cool textures. So, colors. I'm just using black, white, gray. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start everything in this medium gray. Oh, that's a special shot, not black. Grab the wrong color. And 70-30 black illustration. There we go. On the plus side, I picked up a nice vintage Drywater 8. Oh, you got an HPA. Those are cool. The HPA, that is this guy right here. Those are fun. With no cup. I don't use this much, but I do use it when I'm doing my like tabletop mini guys, like these guys here. I'll sometimes use it because I can just put a drop or two, put another drop or two. I'll use that. I paint with a cup on most times, so that's why I don't use that. And then I've been also messing around with the new, not new, but newer to me, the HP B Plus as well. If I'm up at 2, it's P back to bed. I know what you mean, brother. I know what you mean. All right. So if you're going to do like a two-tone, if I'm staying all in grays, we'll do 2 different tones. I'm going to do the background texture here. So order of operations, what I would normally do if I was doing a two-tone, I would very simply, I would just take something like this, and I would just tape there, and I would just lightly, without cutting through the blue, I'll just do that. Yes, I didn't cut through the blue into the metal. That comes with some experience. You just kind of let the blade do the work. Do that. It's literally the lightest touch, brand new blade. And I just do a drag. Really simple, easy. Now I can work out here and not worry about what I get here. And out here, I'm simply going to kind of do what we did in these, okay? Like I said, I'm going to treat this graphic like this hard edge bevel with a nice drop shadow so the blade looks like it's floating. We're going to shade it like this, but I'm going to be on a white surface. And it's going to follow some of these same rules and stuff we did here. So if you've done any of these lessons, everything here is going to be part of it. All right, so let's start with a gray. You know, we could do, you guys want, I did it a little bit when I did this. If a couple guys, if 5 people say yes, I'll do it right away. I could do this stone background. So basically the background looks like, you know, like a stone granite. And we kind of do that old school little trick and kind of make it a basic airbrush trick. If people want that, let me know. I will start getting my paint set up. Always make sure airbrush is good, like I've done for years. Is that quick little practice. I do a couple little rows of dots. And when I do that, I'm looking for a few things. Is my airbrush working great? Do I have nice smooth dots? If I don't have smooth dots, then, you know, if it's not smooth dot, if a dot looks like this, like I mentioned, basics, well, if it flares out like that, it could be too thin or too much air pressure. If your dot, instead of being round, is kind of offset like that, that means you might have a bent needle and things like that. So that's why I still do this to make sure the airbrush is working great. I do a few little dagger strokes, different directions. I always do that before I go for it. All right, we'll do some stone here. Stone's fun. It's old school. It's easy. So I have my black, my gray, and my white. And I'm just going to, on the gray layer, I'm just going to do some simple dots and stippling. And what I'm doing, I'm taking a popsicle stick. You can use anything with a hard edge. And I'm deflecting it at an angle like this, okay? Now, so if I'm really close to the edge, you get very fine dots. If I go a little further back, the dots get a little bigger. See that? If I go further back, the dots get even bigger, okay? Because what's happening is the paint's building up, then it's getting flicked off the ends, okay? So what I'm trying to do is just do a kind of good amount from different distances. Go a little close, a little far. And then I usually, when I'm on a white pan like this, I'm going to actually kind of gray, mist the whole thing gray. No, I usually paint with the cap off, but when I'm doing stuff like this in the bigger areas, I leave it on, especially when I'm putting something up to it like this, because if I push it against the needle, it could be damaging it. Cap on, cap off, it doesn't really change the spray pattern. Cap off allows you to get a little closer. Like, it doesn't, like if I look, I'm going to prove it to you. This is cap on. I'm not going to move. I'm going to pull back a little bit. I'm going to go straight so you can see it. I'm just going a little trigger pull, little trigger pull, little trigger pull, little trigger pull. If I pull this cap off, I do the same thing. Little trigger pull, little trigger pull, little trigger pull, little trigger pull. The cap doesn't change the spray pattern. The only thing that does, I can get a little closer with the cap off and do really fine stuff, but the cap isn't changing. It's just the fact that I can get the needle right up to the paper. Yeah, I'm hell on needles too. Now, if I go like this, I'm actually touching, and that's as tight as I can get. But the problem, the reason why caps are, if you do this and you're on it and you touch it, it's actually going to backflow. So, but really simple. Let's add, I'm going to take a little texture effects. We'll add a little bit of like just gray kind of stony texture to it. Like I said, I'm not putting too much out here. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Exactly. Please subscribe. It's free. Helps the channel. And we're just about at 14,000 subscribers, which is great. I think we're 50 away. So that's really, really cool. My depth first is off. Always sinking the needle. Yeah, you got to be careful of that. Dinking the I figured that's what you meant. So when I do stone, I'm not even going to clean out. I'm just going to go like this. We'll add a little bit of black in there. Not go straight. Black. And now we can add some darker. Just a little bit. They're not crazy. We'll put some cracks and stuff down the road. This is just one of those nice, quick tricks. This is also great if you put white, you do in stars. You can do a star field, stuff like that. It's really cool. You know, I'm going to leave this in here just for the ease. And let's throw some white in here. You can also do sponging. You can do all sorts of stuff to make this look a little bit more like stone. But I find the white really kind of sets it. I'm getting it all over my pocket graphics and the bid sheet. Yeah, the speckling effect works great. Like if you want to do stars, this trick just really helps. And look, I'm going to go further back, get some bigger ones. All right. And then we'll actually take this and we'll go right in between. This eyedropper stopped working, so I gotta just pour it in. Back to the gray, a little darker. You definitely, sometimes I'll add like a drop of like a blue or a green into it, just a tint. There you go, nice and simple. Little stone action, old school retro. And then we'll put a couple little, put a crack in there too. What's a beverage of choice tonight? Tonight we have a little Buffalo Trace. Cheers, everyone. I've straightened my needle at least 3 times. Oh yeah, the sharpen airs work really good. I like those things. So look, to do a crack, I'm gonna just actually take this, and I'm gonna make this section look a little lower, and then I'm just gonna get the airbrush really close. With cracks, you really want to get them a little thinner. Oh, by the way, hope everyone had a good Easter break. With family and friends. See, a little thinner is better because you can kind of almost sneak up on it a little bit. It doesn't go too black too fast. And I usually skip around. Cracks and lightning are very similar. And then what I like to do is do like a little staining. Like some water's been running down. It just adds to the effect a little bit. Yeah, sometimes straightening's all you can do, man. You know, you get in a pinch. But, you know, these things really do a good job in a pinch. And I'm not paid by them. I do use these. Micron needles, you can get there. They don't come out perfect, but they come out usable. With like the 0.23s Eclipse needles, those size, this gets you pretty darn close. I'm going to do another crack up in here just so it's not just like one. I thinned it a little too much, but we'll get there. Let's just go study the cracks in my concrete around my pool. It's real simple. New bid process. I'm just setting a minimum to start, and then at least $10 bids up from there is kind of how I'm going to handle it. So if I need to get like 250 something, I'll start the bid at 250. That way, if people do bid, it's guaranteed to sell. Because some of the projects I've been doing, I put so many hours in. If they don't get to enough, it's hard to get rid of them. These days, especially. And if it doesn't go, then it's going to go up on the store at a later time. But yeah, so that's where we are going to start the bid. And if the bid hits at 150 plus, then it's sold. That is shipping. Within the U.S., shipping's like $20. Gary knows that. Whoops, I just added white to my bourbon. Yeah, no, split cones, you're not going to repair those. Definitely not. Put a little highlight there on this side. You know, just to make it so the white is really strong, let's do this. You don't always have to use an airbrush. It's fine, especially if it cracks like this. Take a brush. Simple, a little highlight, catch the edge. Really simple. It doesn't take much. It's a really simple way to make things look three-dimensional. And we can cut back in. You can actually cut back in with something like this and like hit the edge. You know, just to add a little something. We can actually add some little other like stress textures and just really simple. Thomas Thompson, what's happening? All right. All right. And then now back to like the main lesson. Light source is going to be down. Okay. So top down light source, just like we would do in this. So let's look at this here. Okay. So this stone is floating, but see how the drop shadow flows like this and flows around? The ball is floating here. Same thing. We got the ball floating. We got this here to create lift. That's what we're going to do with these chains. No, chains. I'm looking at chains. I said chains. With this blade. So this blade is going to be casting a shadow down. So I want to go around the whole thing to make sure the whole thing's dark. Like the whole thing's casting a general shadow, right? And I'm just going light around the whole thing. This just helps delineation. That's all it's for. Now what I do is I'm going to follow the sign, and this hook is hooking down that's coming back around. I'm going to follow that like this, and then it's going to come around here, and it's going to tuck inside. It's going to be a little lighter towards here. What's mainly going to get here? Now here, I'm going to come way down like this. And it's going to go further, and that's going to create a long shadow for it. And then down, okay? I usually spread it out a little more down here. Gives it some lift, and at the end, you're going to really see a lot of lift on this, okay? Now I'll do this again. And this is going to help pop it off the surface. Same thing. I'll just do this. So we'll just blade in like that. Come close, and here I can come a little harder out. Oops. Oops, we're going to have to hit that. I taped a little messed up there, so I'm just going to gently fix it. Yeah, I haven't messed with the Evos much. I've played with them. Actually, next month, the end of the month, when I go to Germany, I'm going to get a tour of the H&S factory, which should be pretty cool. I've actually never been to any airbrush factory, so it'll be cool to go see one. Someday, maybe I'll go to the Iwata one. Okay, drop shadow, come down. Down. I want to follow this back around. And then back off. Really simple. Nothing crazy. Do a little flicking. And it's stone. A couple minutes, easy peasy, stone. Oh. Just trying something. Guess not. Oh, okay. So now, very colorful. So see, simple, easy, peasy, clean. Now, I'm not going to be doing anything crazy. I'm going to be staying in here freehand. But if you wanted, if you wanted to be clean, then you just want to tape this back, okay? Which maybe we'll do that so it's like a nice reveal. Put me in for 175, Gary. Thank you, sir. We have our first bid. Thank you, thank you. I don't have my sound effects. Oh, and I do have some of it. Hopefully the sound effect works. So I said, yeah, if you want, you could simply do this and kind of cover it up. That'll be some beer money for Germany. This way it kind of comes out to like a reveal. Just going to cover that side. And then in here, we're going to do one of my classic, when I don't know exactly what to do. I hope you like warm beer. I don't mind warm beer, actually, as long as it's good, like Guinness and stuff. So I'll probably stick to some type of bourbon or whiskey, whatever they got. That's probably going to be harder to come by. But maybe not. We'll see. I don't know. Never been. So see what happens. All right. So this is a great, like doing a tribal two-tone like this, or a bladed or a graphic two-tone is really good for if you got a motorcycle or car that wants a bunch of freehand airbrushing like I'm going to do here, just skulls, but they don't have the budget to do the whole car. It's really good because you can isolate at the key areas, do something simple on the outside, and then have the graphic, and it looks like a really well put together project. Sorry, I get some water. But let's do what we haven't done in a while, and that's just do a little freestyle. What size? Oh, the panel is 11 by 16 or 14. I think it's 11 by 14. Let me see. I should have a ruler right here. We are 11 by 14. Yep, 11 by 14. All right, so just, you know me, man. Skulls, melting the skulls. I just sketch. I'm going to start with like the center. That's going to be where the nose of the first one's going to be. You know what? Let me go to gray. This is too dark to start with. I want to sketch in like a gray. Make it a little, let's make it transparent. So I got my gray. I got some transparent base here. This transparent base is nice because it'll make it more transparent without making it too thin. I am going to add a little thinner to it. Not much because this stuff's already pretty thin. So all right, so now, yeah, here we go. Here we go. Now I can start with a sketch. Like, so that's how, whenever I sketch like skulls, I always start with the nose. The septum comes out like here. So that's, now I know where the teeth are. Okay. Nose bridge goes up. There's the eye. Just really loose sketch. I love painting this way. It's very freeing. It's just like sketching out of a sketchbook. I really encourage people to try to learn to like loose sketch with the airbrush because it is very fun. And usually start with things you're comfortable at drawing. Like, you know, like I'm really comfortable with skulls. So like I can usually freehand these pretty well. I can freehand like koi and some other common things, but it's just a really fun way and exercise to just paint some really cool stuff. Like here we'll start this one. That'll be the mouth. So the mouth will go up to the nose here like this. Okay, so super easy. Basically, if you can draw with a pencil freehand, eventually you start being able to airbrush like that. So this has some teeth. The jawbone comes out here like this, and we're just going to roll that into this one. Okay, so he's looking up. So if he's looking up, the eyes have to come down. So he's looking up there. There's the center. The eyes actually come down now, like this. See, just it's like a sketch. You barely, if you make a mistake, it's really easy to get rid of at this point, or just work over it. Okay, so that's going that way. Eyebrow here like this. And then we can do, let's do like a, let's do a sideways skull looking this way. Okay, this is with no stencils, obviously. You know, I'm going to bring in like a texture stencil or something like that here and there, but I'm not going to use my pack of skulls or anything else. Maybe I'll use some of Pocket Graphics to do a few little extras. But let's do, the side skull is like the hardest one for me. So there's the eye. And when it comes down to the nose, there's the nose, which then comes forward, okay? So he's looking that way. We'll have it a little tilt, so you can see maybe a little of that eye. And when that comes down to where the jaw is, I mean the bottom of the teeth, and then the cheekbone comes up like this and down. And then you got teeth here on the side. And if you're not good at teeth, you could just actually like have this skulls come up to here like that and just have that one kind of go, make this like the temple of the skull here. But again, it's just sketching, just like pencil sketching. So when you start to kind of understand skull anatomy or any anatomy, what you're drawing, you can really mess around with it and just kind of draw what you want, paint what you want. If you want to put a little eye in here, super good session. Thanks, man. Yeah, let's put an eyeball here. I'll just take a cup like that, make a little reference for where the eye is going to be, and we'll just correct it. And look, it's an eye. You've done a few skulls. Yeah, a few thousand. Definitely a few thousand. And then here, let's just do a straightforward one. But we're just going to do the nose, the septum coming down. Like here. That way it goes up. Here. Just an eye. Nice and simple. Just a fun project. Nothing crazy. And then like see how his forehead here starts to create the top of that skull here. Simple. And now, what you can do is you can use, this is a great time to add some texture into everything before you get too serious. Remember that bike, that chopper style thing I did a few months back? That was pretty much the progress here. Let's see how I have enough to work with. And if you don't, obviously you could use like pack of skull stencils or a skull stencil and start working on stripping 6 layers of paint. Oh, those are fun. Candies are a good thing. Like this is a great project for painting it and then laying candies over it. Look, that's nice and done. Now I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna mix this gray up here. I got white in the other. I'm just running 2 airbrushes tonight. We'll make this a dark. Maybe we'll add. No, I'm not gonna add. We'll just keep this black and gray. Yeah, the Crydex candies work so good. So the key with candies when you try to do it. Yeah, so I mean, my go-to, I use house color for solvent, and I use Crydex for candies. The only thing different, the end result, you can't tell the difference. The only difference is the first coat of water-based candies, you don't want to flood it. You want to put it down like medium wet and kind of get a ground established. That way, the next coat of candy doesn't want to walk around and model. But once you do that, you're totally fine. You know what? I have not cleaned this Eclipse out since Adepticon. I don't think it's working too well tonight because I used it during the last feed and I didn't clean it. Oh no. So I think we're going to put this airbrush up for the night because it is not spraying well. Big squatch is happening. Let's do this. Oh God, I haven't messed with in a while. It's working all right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. I haven't brought out this guy in a while. But again, I've been really hard on my brushes. When I travel this much, it gets really hard to stay up. I'm out in Scott's neck of the woods, 1,500 miles away from home. Where are you at right now, man? I was curious when people say up in my neck of the woods. Kyle, what's going on? All right, there we go. Come on. This is getting close to time for the spa day for a lot of these brushes. There we go. Been really hard on them. Okay. So when I do, I'm also keeping this loose and sketchy. The airbrushing's flowing good now. Now I'm going to start doing some details. We'll start bringing some stuff out. And again, I'm doing some black work lines. Very tattooy, very sketchy still. Not overthinking things. Jay Customs, what's happening? It's a big squatch. You didn't say, where are you at, man? Are you up? Where? Oh, be in Boston by morning. Drove from Denver, stopped Niagara Falls. Oh, shoot, man. How long are you in the area? I'm only 35 minutes from Boston, 40 minutes. And if you come down from New Hampshire, Maine, you're going to be going right past me. Well, let me know if you're around. We can maybe catch up for lunch or something if you're going to be in the area. I'd invite you by the studio, but it's an absolute pit in here. It's almost to the point of embarrassing, actually. All right, so simple teeth. Oh, Luce, you're out Chicopee. Yep. Very few Springfields, but many a shows sitting out there with my daughter at the Big E Fairgrounds at shows. Arlene Sunday night, Monday morning, but we're going to New Hampshire Saturday morning for. Okay. Well, let me know. I'm going to be around. If you have a few minutes, maybe we'll meet up. If you're going to New Hampshire, you're probably. I'm on the New Hampshire Mass border near the ocean, so I'm on the 95 side. But if you're going up 93 side, up from Boston, you're still within like 20 minutes of me. So let me know. Reach out on Facebook, or shoot me a message, or shoot me a text, and yeah, maybe we can meet up. Let me know whereabouts in New Hampshire you're gonna be, because maybe it's even closer. Because I can throw a rock for the border in New Hampshire for me. But obviously, if you got family commitments, there's no time. There's no time. But I always like to make the offer when people are in. Yeah, we'll do another little, just a little skull. Happy little skull down here. Not bad for the first hour. Yeah, it's a lot of driving, but all right, so here we go. I gotta move that. Yeah, if you just keep the paint thin, move fast, light trigger pull, you can sketch just like sketch with a pencil. It's really helpful to learn control. It's really freeing. Look, I'm not anywhere near like Steve Gibson and those guys. They can look at a photo and paint from it. I'm not. It's not my skill set. But if I trained for it, I practiced it, I have the control for it. I just don't have the skill set as far as practice, like following a photo. But you can do it. It's just a matter of practice and kind of getting your bearings. But once you get the paint thin and you can mess around, you can really just play around. Oh yeah, Milford's not far. So if you're coming out of Boston, I'm just trying to think exactly where Milford is. So that is, yeah, so you're on the other side of Nashua. You're actually not too far from my sister's. So yeah, that's when you come out and you'll go up Route 3. Yeah, you're within like 45 minutes of me or so. But yeah, if things work out, let me know. This is also a good stage where I can do this, and then we've done 1,500 miles or more straight through, 2 drivers, other than 3 hours at Niagara Falls, and gas bath. Woof! And I've done that as a kid with my father would like to do. We wouldn't go that many, but we would get a good 8 hours in a day of driving. We went cross country and saw a lot of this country. It's been great. Someday I'll do it again and visit some other areas. I would love to go do it and go hang out in a bunch of studios with people and paint a little and do some stuff like that. It would be awesome. If you need any recommendations, let me know where you're staying in Boston. I can tell you some good places to go check out or eat and something like that. Let me know where you're staying. I've lived in this area my whole life and kind of know where a lot of the fun stuff is. All right, we'll do one up here. They're gonna laugh at you. Very cool. Yeah, man. Just if you want to do this style, just or like sketch it loose to transfer, then freehand. Um, I've thought about putting some like pre-etched panels that have like that is like basically all the line work slightly ghosted and lasered in, so people could kind of freehand around it, almost like a coloring book. So you basically order the panel, and the design would already be slightly burnished into the base coat. I don't know if people would be interested in that. If they are, let me know, because it's something I've been kicking around. Just something different. So with that, what you can do now, if you want, is you could do erasing now. Like if you want to do little highlights, you could do that. This is great for doing nice little textures. I always, if you're gonna do erasing, I always tend to do it in the mid, like the mid area, because that way you can blend it in. Because if you do it and don't cover it with anything, it can be a little harsh. Hey, Adam, have a good night. So I'm just gliding across this, and because the paint's very light, you can get some short. Um, my sister drove 13 hours yesterday. I don't sleep well in cars, so I took. Oof. Squash, what state did you guys come out of? So you did 50. That's a lot. I like driving, but after about 8 hours, I'm kind of. That's when my threshold starts. I could do more. I've done the 24-hour drives with friends, 12 and 12, but my threshold gets a little. I get a little cranky at that point. Oh, okay, yep. Going into Boston to the Freedom Trail, north side like you used to. Very cool. You gotta go to the north end, get some pastries, get some Italian pastries over the north end. You can do the Union Oyster House if you like lobsters, and one of the oldest restaurants in the country. And where toothpicks, I think, were invented, if I remember right. Union Oyster House is solid, actually. It's not just touristy. It's a really good restaurant. It's better, but it's good. Just messing around. All right, let's get some white in here. But regardless, if you don't make it or you can't have a great time up in this region, this is the nice time of year. We're starting to warm up, finally get some good weather. And hopefully the weather stays good for you guys. I know I'll be around all weekend at the house getting my taxes finished. Oh, that pen's oh nice. All right, so I got some white. Let's do some highlighting here. Yeah, there we go. So this is my nice thin white. We'll do some key highlighting. Some core highlighting on the eyes there. On the teeth, we'll go where that erasing is and just kind of smooth that out. Kind of come up from here, up the septum. When I'm doing it, all those rules I basically talked about in those basics is all in my head. Like the eyes are cylindrical sideways, so you can kind of go here and put a core highlight, and then you get the core shadow here. Same thing with the eyebrows, teeth. Make that eye bright. So basically, I'm kind of going back. I haven't gone fully black or fully white. I'm kind of staying in between. Get it worked out. I'm softening details. And again, this is one of those jobs where you could spend hours here, minutes, whatever you want, go as detailed as you want. Small Bill Joan jammed out. Oh yeah, go. I have some time in the middle of the night for Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Yep. Oh, that's cool. I'd love to see that time lapse. This is also a good time. Put a little texture in here, especially those negative spaces. Doing this in the mid, because you can cancel it out afterwards, is really great for adding a lot of filler. Looks like you spent extra hours and hours. Covers a lot, gets a lot done. Oh yeah. Now I'm going back to the black. Now this is where I start really, we're gonna push the depth. We're gonna push this back so it looks deep. Now I'm gonna focus on the drop shadow of that graphic. Really push it in. That shadow's casting on that. The blacker I bring, the deeper it sets everything back. And this would be really cool to candy. I'm not going to candy it, but this is how I would handle it. I would finish at this point, get all my final darks in, really. And when I candy something, I really push the contrast. So if this is going to be candied, I'd really be pushing the contrast right now. Get my darkest darks, because if I was doing a red candy, the darkest dark will be the reddest red, the deepest red. And the brightest white would be the brightest red. So I really, you almost want, when you get a candy, you almost want a cartoony look of really bold contrast. especially on automotive, that's what reads well from a distance. If you're too gray and too like, if you don't have enough contrast separation, like darks and lights, you lose a lot of the depth of the creation. So I usually punch at this stage, right before I'm going to candy something, I really punch those darks and lights in strategic areas so I get the most impact. Whenever you're candying, you're usually over metallic. Because the 100% black, the darkest dark, or the white cancels out, right before I candy it, I'll usually dust another little bit of silver on top. So the black has, or gold, so the black has some flake in it, so it doesn't go dead. All right, if you get on the road, come to Maryland. Very cool. I don't know about best crab cakes, but we'll see. We'll see. But probably, yeah. We're not really known for our crab up here, more our lobster. Our clam cakes are great, but that's more Rhode Island style. I'm going to bring those, like that's teeth coming down from that one. A shadow there, and push that jaw down to the eye. Now, if you're going to candy it, this is probably about the time where I candy it. All right. So now, what looks like, let me just pull this off. You can see it all. This is all very gray. And we're going to be doing it black and white, but the key here is going to be to keep these blades really, really clean. If you've ever been to Ohio, just keep going. Nah, Ohio's fine. I wasn't too far. I was in Milwaukee a week and a half ago. All right. So, like I said, this blade, if you already have my vector, the tribal vector one, this blade I just added to it, so you'll get an update email. Let me see from the side. Wicked messy over here. Lobster craws. Okay, so this already has an inline cut. So let me bring out plastic razor blades here. So what I like to do, I concentrate on one at a time. So I'm going to do the inner. Now, inner is going to stay pretty bright, and we want it to stay bright. But it's going to have some delineation because I want the flat surface on top to be the brightest, and you'll see why. So all I do, and I always put a piece of tape over this hole because inevitably you'll get in there. We can do straight edge, or you can take Pocket Graphics. Do I have Pyro in here? No. Let me see here. Oh, wow. I forgot about these. No one has these. These are probably 20-something years old. When we originally did Pack of Skulls, we did do minis as a test. But they never went into production because they were so small and tight to get made that we knew they were going to be almost impossible for people to use. But I do have them. I think I have a set, and I gave Steve Leahy a set. Oh, those are old. I forgot those are in here. Look how little he is. Little skulls. Alright, we'll just use, I don't have these skulls, so we'll just use straight edge. Okay, so I need to keep this bright against this and enough gray to keep it here, keep this white. So what I do, because I have black, I'm going to leave it black, but I'm going to make it more transparent. Okay. This is all going to be done with black, very little white. So we're going to make it transparent, but not water it down. That's where the transparent base or 4050 comes in. And then what I do, I just go around once. Like, it looks like I barely did anything. And that's the point. It's there. Top down light source. So light's going to be hitting this corner up. So it's going to be a little dark down. So what I do is you just hold the blade to it, paint on the mask, okay? Don't try to paint to the edge. I'm going to paint right here, and I'm going to follow down that stroke, and you get a nice little bevel. And it fades out to the edge. Don't try to paint to the edge because you're going to get a line out here. I airbrushed right here. That's where I painted. That's overspray. Same thing here. This comes down, light's catching here. This edge is beveled down. So watch. I'm going to just connect from here to here. Like that, right? And I'm just going to kiss the edge again. And there you go. Very small. Same thing here. I'm actually going to catch it this way. No, see, light's going to catch that edge. This edge is going to start running away. Super simple. Okay, very little. I'm going to make sure I hit a little bit here. This edge is starting to roll back, so it's going to be a little darker up here, and to be lighter as it comes into the light. So let's do that again. Okay. Come down. Same thing. So can you watch? I'm going to paint right here in the mask. And I'm going to go down. And it just cuts over to that edge. It's very subtle, but it makes a big impact when you're done. I'm going to do it again here. I'm going to connect those lines. I'm not going to paint out here because I'll get a line. Your comments coming in. I don't get an error from you. There we go, just that little bit. Same thing, that's to that side. And there we go. Remember, we're kissing the whole thing, so it all gets a little something on there. But it's brighter than everything here. I have the right amount of contrast. Must be in your... Yeah, it's got to be on your... I don't... Well, I'm not commenting, but... Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. With this side, it's going to be... Some of it's going to be darker because it's the bottom side. Okay. Like I said, this is a really simple graphic, but it has a big impact. It's been a great lesson for students, and I should bring this back into my intro more. Well, this kind of is in a way. Maybe I'll do something simpler with a candy, just a two-tone. But see, it's just a nice simple blade with a few curves. And if you don't want to do straights, you could get like a stencil or curve like this and do the same thing. Okay, top down light source. This part of the blade is catching a lot of light. This one is wrapping under. So it's going to get a lot darker. So you can use something like this and find a curve that goes in. There we go. I like this part of the stencil here. Just a little curve like that. See that right there? We're just finding a point to go point to point. And the same thing, I'm just hitting here, like that. Okay, and this can be fairly dark here, and it's going to come back around. This is catching light, and it's going to get dark on that side. So now it's going to be darker on this side. Same thing. Paint into the stencil more, and then come down. I'm going to hold off on this because I want to make sure we get a nice curve. But I do have to hit everything. So remember, this top surface needs to stay white, so everything needs to get hit. It's going to be dark in here, and the light catches around, gets brighter, and then comes here. It just goes down. And you can hit it a couple. If I hit it once or twice on this side, I can hit it more on this side. But I don't. I want the paint transparent because I want this to stay darker. Oh yeah, yep. Some of my early days of custom painting was tribal blades and hooks and daggers and all that stuff too. So yep. But when you look, it's a very simple design. Just like tribals are very simple, but if you didn't do them clean, they looked like hell. You know, and a lot of guys did not do them clean. They looked like hell. Like there were tattoo artists that were really good tattoo artists, and you know that did really crappy tribals because they just weren't clean enough. Motorcycle, the same way. The key to tribals and blades is having very clean transitions and very clean lines. Now matching sides, this side to this side. Okay, just hit that. I'm going to go here. Just hit there. Belly up inside here. This design works really good on a silver panel. Oops, see, I messed up right there. I got to clean that up. That wasn't dry, but that's going to be pretty dark. Cool. All right. So here, the shadow needs to be on this side. This side needs to be brighter with a bevel because it's the light's coming down. It's catching this edge on both sides. What I do first, I mist the whole thing so this point gets something. And this is where tape is better. No, exactly. And you know, it's about that cleanliness of line. Like I knew really good like photorealistic tattoo artists, black and gray artists. Their tribals looked meh because they were so good at shading in loose blends that their tight lines weren't that great. It's just because they don't do it all the time. So this, what I do is I like to take this, and just bend the tape and just kind of find the line a couple times. I want that nice curve. I'm going to do it on both sides. I'm going to hit them both at once. Basically, I'm following the outer till it meets the point. So I get a nice curve. And then just really light. Pop up. Notice where I'm painting though. I'm painting on the stencil, right? On the mask. So you get a nice clean bevel. Nice clean beveled edge. Mist the whole thing. Make sure we got good delineation. Let's see, I have nice contrast. Not bad for an hour and a half. This is an hour and a half project live. Easy peasy. It's fun. Now we pull the center. And see how nice bright white that is. So that's catching all the light because it's flat and it just pops off. And then what I do, I could have probably done less coats here. What I like to do is then I'll take and we'll do a little reflection line. Maybe we'll just take this off, or I'm going to hold this off just an edge. Like just as an edge of reflection. I'm going to follow that up to here. Just give it like a little refraction. Nothing crazy, but I just don't want it solid. And you can do some little edges, like it's got some reflections in it. You could do cracks in the blade if you wanted to. But see how that little shade just gave it a little bit of life so it wasn't so perfect? If you want to put a rivet, you could put a rivet in there. It's amazing how many real artists can pull. Yeah, no, but it's the same thing. Like I know amazing photorealistic airbrush artists that if they were to try to lay this graphic out freehand like this without looking at anything, they'd struggle. Some don't, some do. And I can freestyle like this without even thinking about it, but to go to photorealism, I have to change my method, my way of thinking, and slow myself down, and it's not my style. I can do it. You're in line, so specialize in whatever. Yeah, I can do whatever. It's just my comfort zone is like this stuff where I can just kind of play around. So now I'm going to take that white and I can hit a white highlight and I can do a little gleam off an edge. We'll give it a little gleam there. Be very sparing. I'm going to do another one like right here. Just a little reflection. And again, I can spend hours and hours if I want to keep doing little things. But this on a motorcycle, local show, guy doesn't have thousands to spend. He pulls up with this. It's got a nice look to it. And it's clean. And if I'm in budget for a customer, I'll spend another hour or so picking little details here, maybe adding some eyeballs, add some little stuff, but the job is kind of done. We can add some more cracks to things. We can just punch it out, but you see, this already has depth and dimension. It's all about Kellogg Krispies. I like that. I like that. But yeah, I like line work. I like more of a pop to things. I'm going to darken up here so it looks like it's a little more shadowed. And this blade kind of goes off into the background, off the page. I respect the hell out of photorealistic guys. It's just not my bag. I can do it when I need to do it. Shadow this. We're going to shadow that a little bit more. Bright and bold. Yep. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, and that comes from. I spent years as a t-shirt artist at the beaches and the malls. So you just get back when you didn't have phones to look at, and you just spent. They have 8 to 12 hours a day just paint. Just painting stuff, and that's when, honestly, that's when Todd McFarlane came out and started was doing Spawn and Spider-Man and all super detailed line work. I would trace or copy that onto a shirt, and I would just spend hours picking lines. And what that did, that's like, a drummer practicing drums, hours a day. Let me do an eyeball right here. Get a little fleshy eye in here. Give him a little lid. I'm an hour and a half late. Yep, this was an hour and a half total for this one. Really simple. Make that eye. We'll give it a pop. There we go. Look at that. I just ordered a set of grinds. Here's this. Oh, very cool. But yeah, like I said, I've used this blade example dozens, maybe hundreds of times in 25 years. When the first time I did this one, and it was a great lesson. I haven't used it in probably a decade or more. And I thought it'd be a cool one to bring back out. It's actually one of my early articles of Airbrush Action magazine with a green skull. And we did like floral flourishes out here. It was a really cool piece. How would you make the blades look chrome? So for chrome with white, I mean, I would add a little bit of maybe a little blue and brown, but I would do harsher reflections like in here, like this. Watch. I would probably put a harsher reflection here. See how that starts to give it a chrome look? Because what chrome does when you're doing here is that's like the reflection line of your surface. So I'll do it here again. And usually give it a little curve and then blend it up the sides. See what I mean? Now that starts to get a little bit more chromey look. We'll do another one here. And then we'll add some. Basically, you want harsher reflections. When you look at chrome, everything's really crisp. So instead of soft reflections, you have hard reflections. So I'll make this one a little harder. So you can transition it up and let that reflection grow up the sides a little bit. And I gotta make this a little crisper. I lost that edge a little bit. But you see how that harsher reflection really, and then you got to come up the sides with some white. Make that reflection really bright. One of the best was Kiwi Terry at it. But you see, just by making those a little crisper, it gives you a more chrome feel. And that's just off the cuff. I mean, obviously, you could spend a lot more time making it. Even better. You got RC car bodies paint. Oh, yeah. I'm getting confused. Why again? But yeah, Brian, that's kind of what I would do is just make things make those a little crisper. And have the reflections harsher. One of these edges here, I'd probably highlight these. You know, make that a little brighter. Let's say we got this is only an hour and a half so far. I can spend more time just reflecting things. Chrome is just sharper reflections, realistically. And you got to have horizontal lines. But see this area here? This looks more liquidy chrome just because of the way I have the highlights. Go up here, soften that out. This starts to get that chrome feel, I think. And I'm not looking at an example of it, but you can see this looks more chrome than it did before. We'll come up that side reflection here. Right there, we'll do it again here. Just remember, you got to have, you know, this reflection you're seeing, that bright light is my light. That dark line, look, when I move my hand, the reflections are moving. So it's a mirror. You got to have that, those lights and darks next to each other. I can bump it up 50 for more details if you want. Always, man. I'll just keep painting. We got time. I'll just add reflections. So we'll make this blade a little. Let's experiment with this. And hopefully I don't mess it up. But see, just by adding extra tone and extra crisp highlights, you start getting, there's a little reflection here. You know, notice this blade has a lot more look to it. Okay, thank you, Gary. Gary's the man. 225, thank you, sir. We'll include shipping for that. Candy would be a lot additional just because to candy I would have to remask this off. But we're going to hit some highlights here, make that a little bit better. And by doing this freehand like this, it does soften things a little bit, makes it look a little more artistic. Not so stickery stencil. It's really about balance. And let's get some more in here. Yeah, by keeping these organic, yeah, and flowing, and then that super crisp line, and even out here, really sets it apart and gives you that lift. You know what I mean? But now this is the time, like I was at budget. The budget's a little bit more. I can spend a little more time there. So if you want a customer job, you know, and like you budgeted for like, say it's a $2,000 job and let's say $100 an hour, 20 hours, and you're at 15 hours, looks cool. You don't stop. You spend that extra 5 hours and detail the shit out of it and have fun with it. All the foundational work is done, but now you can play and just keep adding. You've finished it as far as the core. You could get away with stopping if you chose to, but it's nice to just, now the bills are paid, everyone's happy with the progress. Now you add that extra icing on the cake. Yeah, and these projects are cool because different people pick up different portions. They're like, oh, I really love the skulls. Oh, I love how crisp that blade is. And oh, that texture's cool. You have 3 different textures. We got stone, we got metal, we got bone. Okay, you know, and you can really, each one has its own kind of feel, and keep things really loose and organic here. And like tattoo, the guys here, like Brian and sorry, Joe, you guys tattoo artists, you know, if you're feeling it, the customer's happy, you got enough money for the job, you know, you don't stop watching the clock, but you know you're paid, you know everyone's happy, you're into it, customer gives you free reign. You spend another hour or so in the chair detailing, adding little things, and it's just icing on the cake. It goes a long way. It's that extra 10% that really makes all the difference in the world. Like, see, even that, just that little bit of addition changed it from, oh, it looked cool before, like, wow, let's give it a little uplighting. So maybe it's uplighting from here. You know, really just starts to become, we'll hit the edge of these skulls more. Like, this is my happy place. Like, just playing around, adding more details, making things crisper. Yeah, personal skull guy. Yeah, which is why I love skulls. But what I like about teaching skulls, it's a really easy way for people to understand light sourcing more than doing portrait work, because you have so many angles and you can play with highlights, like, and get things to be rounded. Yeah, it's that little extra, and that's true. That's who comes back. I'm going to bring that reflection up a little further so it looks a little more chromy. Same thing here. I'm going to come up the sides. A little darker right there. And see, yeah, it starts getting a better. We'll go darker under there. But the thing is, if you don't keep this clean, this job goes south really fast on you. That's the one thing I really like. The fleshy eye. Yeah, that's kind of, I've been doing that for years, where I took that, not took it, but Mike Learn influenced that for me a lot, because he used to do that a lot. And I kind of adopted my version of it. And it's that fleshy eye. You can put some wet in there, and it starts to look a little gooey, especially right here, like the pocket of the eye. Adds a little life. See, but this was 10 minutes, and if you rewind back 10 minutes and look at 10 minutes ago to this, you see a massive difference already. Make that stony edge a little bit more dimensional. Brighten that edge. This one looks lower now. So Jazzy 6240. I'm not sure if that's, I'm not sure if that's a bid or what. I'm not gonna have to let me know or reach out. And where you're at. Oh yeah, Justin bid 240. Okay, we got a bid of 240. Jazzy, 62.90. Jazzy, are you on my Instagram or Facebook? You'd have to give me a message there through PayPal. And if you're US, shipping's covered at this point. If it's Canada or somewhere else, it's whatever that is. Uh, let me put my socials up here. So those are socials if you don't. So yeah, Jazzy's bidding. Oh, it's Mike. I see everyone cheer on your daughter's account. Sorry, man. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this rando? Mike Stanton. Okay, Mike Stanton's at 240. Poor Mike. You're on your daughter's account. It's awesome. Sorry, man. Well, since they changed things, it's also harder for me to know who's who. And then, sometimes you just get randos. You don't know who they are. And so if someone's a first-time bidder, I kind of take the benefit of the doubt and we'll put it on. But the previous bidder will be first call if that goes through. So that's kind of how I handle those because it's happened before. You're going too far by Jazzy Mike. Jazzy Mike incognito. Yeah, my phone won't let me on for some reason. Oh, I was having an issue with one of my apps not letting me on. I offloaded the app and reloaded it, like deleted it off the phone and then reloaded it, and everything was fine. It's the equivalent of turning it off and back on again. Don't hate me, Mike. You mean Jazzy Mike? Jazz hands. Okay, Gary rounded to 250. I got a feeling that was going to happen. Shipping's included for anyone at this point in the U.S. Outside the U.S., not so much. I think it's a cool thing that I think it was Brian asked for Chrome because I think that upped the quality of it. Let's get a little. I want a little bit crisper on that. Make that a little more crispy. Yeah, there we go. Just adding more details. What do we got? We got 47. Tell your daughter I said thank you. Jazz hands. I'm sorry, Mike. I needed that. It's been a hell of a day, actually. This bike I'm doing the tape at work is killing me. Not killing me, just it's so technical, and I'm breaking in these new glasses, and things getting old. We haven't had a good bid war in a while, so that's fun. And I haven't taken as many bids, and I'm going to continue that throughout the year. Some projects will be non-bid, some will, and I'll announce at the beginning. So I think from here on out, what I'll do is if it's going to be a bid, I'll have the bid sheet clear, starting bid clear, and kind of like a minimum. I'm not going to do like blind reserve anymore. If I'm going to put a reserve on it, it's going to be the minimum bid. I think that's a more effective way to handle it, so people aren't guessing to what I really want for the piece. And I don't like when people have to bid and then I'm like, it didn't reach it. Sorry, guys. It's just not cool. Title of the painting, Jazz Hands. And that's not my fault. I didn't start that, just so you know. Selena Shea Studio started that. Oh, that's great. It's awesome. This guy got a lazy eye. Yeah, we can do 10 more minutes of little picking. Do a good solid 2 hour. That nose needs to be a little darker anyway. Do a little extra structure in here. Pick mark in here. Yeah. She's like, I own that. I own that. I'm going to make this a little thinner, a little bit more transparent. It was my 52nd birthday on Tuesday, so now I'm 80. I'll be 52 in June. It's creeping up. A little more transparent. Let's hit this a little bit here. Darken that one, get it a little deeper. So I would say, in my opinion, one of the best at doing like stylized chrome, motorcycle chrome was Kiwi. Kiwi Terry probably had the best, in my opinion, looking chrome. Just looked awesome. Well, maybe we'll get a little extra texture up here, a little extra details. No, Kiwi was, man. He was such a good guy too, man. Just aside from immediate family like my dad, Kiwi and Mike's loss was probably hit me more than anything. And every time I do certain paintings and work, they're the first two that come to mind. So we're the 52 Club. Yep. Yep. We are. Yeah. Yeah, I don't have any Kiwis. We never swapped, and we never got paired up. Um, yeah, I was only paired up with Rhino, with Allen. We were supposed to do a pair up this year, but that got changed. Yeah, I used to love it when yeah. I do have, and it was given to me by someone who got it after he passed and gifted it to me to take care of. I have one of Kiwi's Microns, and it's still covered in clear coat and paint, and it's usable, but I'm not going to clean it. It's just gonna. I got to go get a shadow box for it. Maybe I'll paint. I'll get a shadow box, paint a little something inside it, and then leave it like that, and that'll be it. I got to figure out what to do there with that. She doesn't go 110 these days. Didn't like that glare over there. Need to push that back. Yeah, see, by softening that, that was better. That was better. All right, I think I'm going to be wrapping. This is going to wrap. We're going to hold the bid there, 250. It's Gary's. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Mike, for bidding. Let's just do a little. This is my old way of signing. Just my initials. SM. And we'll do 20. 26. And we'll get a little highlight there. Put a little highlight like it's been. Just add a little. Add a little brushwork to it. Twenty. 26th. Really tough to get used to these progressive lenses. There we go. Decent panel for not knowing what I was doing a few hours ago. I'm gonna leave that. That's done. And that, kiddies, is how you do skulls, granite, and chrome blades in under 2 hours with no sketch. Just a simple graphic. It's downloadable. Like I said, you guys, it's only a $15 download. It comes with this and 9 other really cool, way more intricate blades. The link's down the bottom. Links in the description for it. And yeah, and I said I have a paint can of pagan girl Mike signed for me. That's awesome. Made a pilgrimage so hard. That's awesome. But yeah, so anyone who has this tribal blade, you'll get this and the main set with all the extra ones. You get this for free. So, and those who buy this get everything. Don't forget that is 24% off for all members. And I think that's gonna cap it off. That is. Do I have? Nope, that's that. Wrong one. Yeah, I don't remember how to do that. Well, guys, that is it for the evening. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Next week, we'll do another feed. Then the week after that, I'm not sure yet because I am getting ready for Germany. So I got to start putting some time into that because I'm still unsure of one of my projects, but we'll get there. And yeah, I hope everyone had a great time. Learned a lot from this. Hope you guys learned just freehand sketch. If you haven't messed around with it, just put a thin black or like watery thin black, put your pressure down, and just sketch. However you would sketch with a pencil, try sketch with the airbrush, and then sketch it a little tighter like a pencil, a little tighter. Just keep working it up, and you can do some really, really cool stuff. It's a nice way to work. It's very freeing. It's very forgiving, and you'll get a lot out of it. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's feed. That is 10 o'clock on the dot, 2 hours on the dot. I think we worked out pretty good. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I appreciate it. Hopefully by next week, we'll be at 14,000. When I checked last, we were at 13,000, like 57 or 56 or something right around there. So we're close. So if you're watching and you're not liked and if you're not subscribed yet, it's free. Subscribe. Turn notifications on. We got a lot more coming up this year, and hope you all have a great night and a great weekend.